I would love to bring up Jennifer Solomon from Equality, Florida. What I've appreciated about today is we're getting to hear from folks all across the country. And so if there was a state that certainly has had its challenges in the midst of this administration and before it, Florida, falls right into that category. So Jennifer, please feel free to tell us a little bit about yourself and share with us about the work y'all are doing with families.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me here. I am coming to you from the Sunshine State, but as you mentioned, it is we've been used to this. This has been the last couple of years for us here living in Florida, and so believe it or not, other states are looking towards us to see how to navigate. Um, my name is Jennifer. I use she, her pronouns, and I am a proud parent of four. Three of my four kids are part of the LGBT community, so I consider myself very lucky. My son just messes that whole thing up. It could have been 4 out of 4, but I feel very privileged that I am able to be a parent of incredible children, each of them unique in their own way, and really my story started like many parents. I wanted to figure out how to be a good parent. And so when my youngest was born, and he started to show me who he was, he really gravitated towards more female toys. Frozen was out, and Elsa was everything. She's the queen. And so as a parent, I wanted to make sure that how I was raising this little boy that was showing me that he preferred girl things. I don't know if there's such a thing. What do I do? I'm in charge, right? I'm the one providing the clothes and providing the toys. Do I just tell this beautiful little boy, no, you're a boy and you can't like those things? And am I going to be his first bully, or do I embrace this child? How do I protect him from others being bullied? And so what I did was look for support. And what I found was PFLAG, although we didn't have a chapter where I live in Florida. So I decided to start one. So in 2017, I became the founder and president of PFLAG Miami, which I still run today. And it's incredible what the power of community is. And that's exactly what I found. I found other parents that maybe didn't have the exact same child. I'm still looking for that parent that has the exact same child as mine, but was on a similar journey. And when you find others that are on this journey, it is so powerful to link arms together. And I think that is so important now, even more important now, based on, times have changed since I opened that PFLAG chapter. And so that kind of started me on my road to advocacy. I'm a registered nurse by profession. And so nurturing is part of who I am as a mother and as a nurse. And I am very privileged to now be the parent and family support manager for Equality Florida. I had been pestering them enough that there needed to be something that really united parents. A lot of times what we see is, a lot of organizations putting information out that unfortunately, sometimes it's misinformation and becomes even more stressful for families. And so, especially living here in Florida, I saw that a few years ago. A bill comes out, and we all know that at the end of the legislative session, either it never passed, it passed and it's worse, it's reworded, there's amendments. But most families, most parents and caregivers don't get to that point. They hear it, they're fearful. And so, the accurate information wasn't out there. And so Parenting with Pride is a program that was launched to do exactly that. What we want to do is be that centralized space for families and educators and allies to be able to get accurate information. And it was born on August 15, 2023, because that's the day I became a grandmother. My daughter and her wife blessed me with a beautiful baby that was, I always say, my baby is Parenting with Pride and was born on the same day that my beautiful granddaughter was born. But it's ironic, it's symbolic, it's all of those things. And so in the last 2 years, what we've really done here in Florida with our Parenting with Pride program is ignite parents together. We have over 2,600 families that we provide education for, that we provide webinars for. And so we want to make sure that we're taking parents, supporting them, educating them, and moving them to a space of advocacy. Because I don't know about you, but I really do believe that when you poke a mama bear, you're never going to win. And that's what we're seeing. As parents, we are linking together. We are becoming stronger. I talk to parents all the time that say to me, I never thought I would be standing in Tallahassee sharing my story with a legislator. That's just not who I am. I'm a quiet, private person. But when you attack our children, that's probably where folks draw the line. And that's what they've been doing. And so we are winning. And that's what also I want folks to know, that I have a 14-year-old queer child in Florida, in Miami, right? I'm going to get it even worse. In Miami, and he is thriving, and he is not only surviving, he is student council president, he is on the cheerleading team, he's competitive dancer. And this is a child, if you look, should not be able to have all these beautiful spaces in a state like mine, but he is. And so the hope is there. We are not going to let politicians continue to use our kids as pawns. And the more we speak out, listen, our legislative session this year, we stopped every bill. How did we do that? We showed up. We showed up every single day of the 60 plus days of legislative session here in Florida. We had folks in every room. I brought parents, we shared our stories. We said, hey, listen, I'm just a mom trying to get my kid to do his homework, eat a decent meal, clean up his room. He also happens to be gender nonconforming. Here's a mom, has a 6-year-old transgender child, just wants to play, just wants to use the bathroom they feel comfortable in. Now we have terrible laws that are stopping us, but we're finding creative ways around it. We're making sure that we are accurately reading these laws that don't say gay. When that passed here in Florida, we thought, oh, we're never going to be able to continue to do the trainings that we do with teachers, having these adults, because when I send my child to school, I expect him to be safe, right? We all expect our kids to be safe. And, some of these laws really tie the hands of some of our educators, but we've got our settlement and it explained exactly. So we took that fear away, because the laws are very vague. And so when they're very vague, we know that we have principals and superintendents that are going to err on the side of being conservative. They're going to pull all the books off the shelves. We've had the most banned books anywhere in this state. And we have slowly been going back into these spaces using our organizations like the PTA. What a powerful, powerful organization that's not in the school, that doesn't have to follow the same rules, and be able to support our parents there. We have PFLAG chapters all across the nation, but across the state, in communication, making sure that we are giving our families the tools that they need to succeed. So I think that the key here is make sure you find those places, find those other orgs, find those places that are safe. I run Kaleidoscope PTA, which is one of 2 standalone chapters in the nation. The other one's in New York. And we want to make sure that every family in our schools feels that they have a place that they belong, and that we can support them and their families. And so we're building a movement. Despite it all, we are building a movement, and it is being led by our children, by their voices. I look at my kid every day, and I'm in awe. I'm in awe of how proudly he lives his authentic life as if it's nothing. And so I love what the speaker before me said. They built this foundation, and our kids are taking it. They're taking that baton and running with it, because they know that they need to continue this fight for the future generations. I see it in kids like mine that stand up and say, no, mom, this is who I am, and this is who I'm going to be, and I'm going to be okay. And it's us that, it's me going, oh, Cooper, don't take dance class. You have to change at school. Take drama. That's easier. You're very dramatic. And he said to me, Mom, I'm a dancer and I'm going to figure it out. And you know what? He just graduated middle school and he figured it out. He figured out where he could change for dance. He talked to his dance teacher and said, listen, even though I'm a boy, I present female. This is how I present. And I want to wear the costumes in the recital the same like all my friends do. And I will tell you, he was Britney Spears in the class recital, front and center, and he made it work. And so I have such hope, because we know our kids are just moving mountains, and we just need to be beside them, alongside them, to guide the way, because it's important for them to know that, we can't just say it's going to get better without putting our efforts into it. And so I know that I'm going to always demand respect for my child, for all my children. I'm going to always demand safety for our children. And so thank you for having me here. I don't believe I went overtime.
No, you did great. Can you tell
Awesome.
us, what do you do for joy when you're not working, when you're just having a good time? What do you do to fill your cup up for some joy?
Oh, wow. That's hard because I feel like because this is so personal to me, I'm always working.
I know that's my challenge to us speakers. What do we do to take care of ourselves?
Yeah, I know. Well, my daughter and her wife just recently moved out of the state with my granddaughter because this is a very difficult state for them to live in.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
so I am going to go see her for July 4th. I'm going to refill my cup with all my granddaughter kisses and hugs, and a little simple thing that I just did, and it's bringing me joy every day, is my home office where I am and where I work out of have glass doors that overlook my patio, and I put a bird feeder, acrylic bird
Ah,
feeder. And I have these beautiful birds that come right up to my window,
love
and
it.
it's bringing me joy. So it's a simple thing, but honestly, cardinals have been coming up here and blue jays, and they're super close, and I don't know that they see me, but I can
Sure.
see them. So, in the middle of all this hard work, I look up and there's a beautiful bird. So
Yeah, I love. Well, thank you, Jennifer, for being here. Thanks for the work you're doing. Thanks for
of
being in
course.
Florida. I know that there's a thriving actually community there, regardless of the hype of Florida. And so I'm glad that you're there and that so many people are there doing this work. So
Thank
thank you
you.
for joining us. I'm sure we'll stay connected and have more to collaborate on in the future. But